All right. Jay, can you scoot everyone in here? Let's get this thing going. Who's going to come up here and do the Casey Shuffle? You were loud. Mark sent me a video down there. I said, get loud. And then he sent me a video of him the next minute, and they were loud as hell. The announcers kept saying it is as loud as it's ever been. Who's excited about Kansas City winning that game? I thought my wife was going to have to take me to the hospital. Your husband was texting me, Julie. So you didn't watch the game? Oh my God. Can you put on our notes, next sales manager we hire must be Chiefs fan? All right, guys. So during the game or before the game, Aaron, you said if Kansas City pulls this out, I'm going to pick our motivational video for this next sales meeting. Aaron, the Bills fan, picked this out for us. So I'm sure we're going to love this. We give Maggie one job. Make sure that the video is spectacular today. Well, you go to the cold weather.
That golden red and so you can't get the pain.
You ever seen anything so beautiful, guys?
The sword and even we stop to 24 look down at the city. Take him back. On back for Coach Reed, take it on back for old DD, take it back for the Bears and old Casey.
Is that probably the best inspirational video you've ever seen? If that don't bring tears to your eyes, I don't know what will. All right. All right. We won't do that again unless we win the Super Bowl. So be ready in 2 weeks for it. So the last 3 weeks has not been good just for the Chiefs. We have seen clearly the market since about 3 weeks ago pick up. We're seeing activity pick up. We're hearing numerous multi-offers in that 350 and below area. And it seems like we were in a mastermind group where I had one person say, I'm working with 4 or 5 different $1 million plus buyers. It seems like that market's picked up. But there continues to be a census, it seems like, of all the mastermind groups that we've talked to. I'm looking at these guys who sat here with me and all these, that 450 to 850 or something like that continues to probably be the soft area in the market, if there is one, where you continue to have, you know, some price reductions, not as many multiple offers and stuff like that. But show of hands in the rooms, because those of you that are here, I'm assuming are productive people that are out building relationships. But would you say you've seen a substantial pickup in activity, showings, listing things over the last 2 to 3 weeks? Okay, the rest of you, what are you doing here? All right, we're going to start off. Come on up. You're going to talk about something ATS is doing in conjunction with Open Door Mission. Is that right? Okay. I apologize.
Okay, I'm Melanie D. Scott with Ambassador Title. Most of you guys know Dick Gibb and Open Door Mission. Berkshire Hathaway always serves, I don't have this, I think it's the second Tuesday of every month at Berkshire. In case you didn't know, that's Berkshire night. We happen to have our next service opportunity with Open Door Mission on February 14th, Valentine's Day. And they're going to be making it a big event. They're asking us to have 50 volunteers serving dinner to the homeless. So we're asking you guys to reach out to myself, Dick Gibb. We want you to sign up. Bring your kids. If you have a 14 on up young adult that wants to serve and get community service hours, bring them out. But Valentine's Day, what a great day to go out there and serve. The statistics right now that I pulled off their website states compared to this time last year, Open Door Mission food kitchen costs are up 38%, but the donations are down 17%. So whatever way we can help our community, it'd be great. So sign up. We're also coming up. We wanted to stop out when we come out and serve Tuesday night, the 14th. We're going to bring them Eileen's cookies, the frosted cookies. But we are asking for cash donations for that as well. So whatever you guys can do, sign up. One final thing. My twin sister has a fundraiser back Northwest Iowa. So if anybody likes Casey's Pizza before the Super Bowl, you can get a punch card for $20. It's valued at 140. So that's it. Thank you.
Is Dick here?
Yes.
Where's he at? Dick, what was that? I think it was a very small group. You and me and probably 7 or 8 of us that started this almost 20 years ago, wouldn't you say? And that's been our night for the last 20 years. But Dick has been the only religious person to go through the whole 20 years. I think I stopped 15 years ago. But the Open Door Mission has always been an organization that's been close to our heart. And we always do the Christmas thing, which we missed because of COVID, but we got back down there. So great cause. And Dick is clearly a champion of the Open Door Missions and giving to others. So is there a Venmo, or do you want cash or? Okay. So, yeah. You want to get that to Heather and she can get that out. Okay. David, I think we announced you. Do I see David somewhere around here? He's coming around. David, come on up. Our new AHS rep. I think we had you here for a meeting at the beginning of the year. Correct? All right. And breakfast, by the way, is being provided by AHS out there. I'm not sure what we have. What do we have? Champagne and lobster celebrating the Chiefs' victory, David? Pizzas and bagels.
Hello, everyone. David Coble, AHS. I am here locally. I heard somebody say that just a second ago. So yes, so this is my property. I live here in Omaha. So, and I'm the new AHS rep. Brand new to the industry, brand new to AHS. So thank you for welcoming me. You guys have been great. You've probably seen me back there. This will be my area at times. You'll just see me pop up. So, and I'll try to be here on Wednesdays. So if you have questions or whatever, you can see me in person. Otherwise, this is my QR code, so you can reach me and so on. I'm looking here to keep myself honest on time. Sorry. Go back one quick second. Real quick about me. I talked about I'm new to the company. A couple of fun facts. I'm a photographer on the side. 30 years of retail experience. So this is my first job where I don't work directly in a room with a bunch of people selling stuff. And I've never tasted coffee. No idea what it tastes like. I know some over there. No interest. I do Red Bull. So, next slide. So to go a little bit into the educational piece, real estate transactions, about 180 steps. I think they'll pop it up. There's a lot involved. And what I'm going to talk about, obviously, is the warranty side of it. Go ahead and click next. So it's all about going back to the basics. In the last 2 years, what I'm hearing from you guys is been hardly any inspections done. And that's a very important step to help protect the seller as well as the buyer. Top three, you're probably talking about on your own, but the fifth one, insisting a thorough inspection of the home, very important. Make sure we're doing that. And Home Shield is a warranty, is a great negotiation and risk management tool. Next slide, please. Which buyers need it the most? Proud protectors. These are people who, if something breaks, they're probably going to try to fix it themselves. They don't really have the extra money, can cause extra problems, so on and so forth. They worry about making that big purchase. They're anything like me. I'm the same way. I make a big purchase like that, my stomach hurts. And then something goes wrong and then it hurts even more. And I'm worried for years and so on. So, but they're very proud of their purchase and so on. Very important group to make sure they have the warranty. Thank you. When is it a good idea? When buyer puts most of their savings into the home or down payment. First time home buyers, home has seen better days, lived in hard. We've seen many of those. One of the benefits of us is no matter how old the home or the appliances are, we cover it.
What's a
And
high maintenance client? Is that like a high maintenance agent? Could you define that? Point 1 or 2 out
I
here.
haven't seen any high maintenance agents yet.
Wow. Wow. You've not been here very often then.
They're on speed dial. Opportunity for a lifetime client, more touch points in between sales. Next slide, please. Last few years, we've dealt with inflationary pressures, labor costs, supply chain, labor costs. Everything's more expensive now, isn't it? It's just crazy. Supply chain disruptions, extreme weather, sea of sameness. So a couple things we're doing. We're working on a real estate concierge. This is a team that's put together specifically to help with the issues. A lot of what you guys call me for, little issues you run into. So I can take it off your back. And this is a team to take it off mine. Because something goes wrong, I can't go fix it. I'm not a handyman. I worked in retail. My hands are soft. So I can't fix it either. So that's what that team is for. Back in. Renewed contractor relationships. Today, one of the things that's very important is that we have relationships with contractors to keep things moving forward. And tomorrow we have someone from Contract Relations Group coming to town. So I'll be having dinner with them. And big thing is working on getting more contractors, right? That way we can get to things quicker. And I'm obsessed with agent service. That's what the purpose is of the position, but I'm obsessed with making sure that you guys are taken care of. And then I don't know what the other new innovations are, but I guess we have some new innovations coming. And this will be the last slide I'll cover. So we'll skip the rest after this, just to keep me honest on time. But over 35% of HVAC claims are on systems under 10 years old. Things aren't lasting as long as they used to. Can't trust just the fact that something was bought within the last 10 years. 45% of appliance claims are on units less than 5 years old. Wow. And 25% of water heater claims are on systems under 5 years. So just wanted to run these things by you. Again, I'm here. I plan on being here a couple times a week. And I'll try to get something out so that if you, oh, my business cards are back there in the, go grab a business card. But need me for anything, reach out.
All right, 15 minutes inspirational speech now.
And you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, guys, first of all? So our whole goal is, thank you, David, is Scott, as we've had conversations, is that we wanted somebody local here.
Yes.
Having someone out of Des Moines, they were not as visible, so we're excited to have someone that's going to be here on a weekly basis. That's really going to be just focused on us. So we're excited about having David on board there. So Maggie, before you go, I'm going to run through a couple more stats here. Is we are going, I know that I've got tons of you. I'll be working with Maggie and Carrie the rest of the week. I know I've got to get these market graphs out to you. We'll get those out and then we'll have all of them at the award thing. But we do know that we did $4.3 billion, I think, for the entire company last year. We don't have our total number. We'll have it today, but we think that we're over $1 billion of non-MLS activity, which is just an non-MLS. And that doesn't, we've taken Lincoln and scrubbed that out of there. So 4.3 billion, I think that was 4.2 billion last year. So we did even more volume this year than we did last year. We did do about 1,000 less transactions. But when I talked to a number of people around the country, we went from 13,300 to 12,300. Is that approximately right for closed transactions last year? That beat pretty much the vast majority of people in country. We are just getting, and I'm reviewing today, our top 25s and award winners for Berkshire Hathaway, but I think we're going to have probably more than we've ever had before. So many of you have done a hell of a job of growing your business. So update on the market is existing properties, is this as of this morning? It's 277, and we were sitting at 400 and something 3 weeks ago. So here we are, we're heading in the same cycle that we've been heading in where, you know, this conversation, our price is going to go down. Well, not very likely because we're seeing inventory go down again. Yeah, and then we got even lower than that in the spring market. So we've seen in 1,027 of all listings, we were sending about 1,400 in December, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we're seeing the number of new construction houses for sale come down. We're seeing the existing houses come down. To me, that's a sign that this conversation of the buyer out there who says, I'm going to go out and wait till these prices drop is not going to happen. We talked about the ATS app and a bunch of the good information that they have on there comparing the 2007-8 market crash to the current markets, and that the drastic difference in the economy of what's happening there. So, and the second thing is, as I said earlier, we're seeing multiple offers here for 4, 5, 6 offers on houses 350 and below. So I'm fearful, and I'm starting to hear, as we've talked to a number of people in mastermind groups, we're hearing all of a sudden escalation clauses again. So I mean, be prepared as we're making, there's clearly been a shift in the market. It's not been in all aspects or price ranges, but there's been a shift in this market. Prices are starting to go back up. I had a meeting with DR Horton, who brought in all these analytics last Thursday, I believe it was, when I was with the regional president. And he showed that over the last 2 weeks that you actually, they have this thing where they pull all the information data. They are showing that prices have what started trending. They showed the trending down all the way through the second half of last year. And over the last 2 weeks, they're like, this is good news for both new construction and existing. The house is going up. Now, it depends whether the good news is they're a seller, right? So for buyers, that's probably not good news if prices are going up. The last part of this is Prosperity. Someone from Prosperity, where are we at on a 30-year mortgage today? I thought I saw someone here earlier from them. 6, 6.25. They took a phone call. They knew I was going to call on them right now. But 6, 6.25, and we were even hearing some rates 5 3/4, 5 7/8 last week. To me, my thought on this is, the farther we get away from these 2.5% to 3% interest rates, people have short-term memories. There's like, this becomes normal. In a weird way, it's kind of good that we got up to 7.5% interest rates, because 6, 6.25 looks really good compared to 7. And if we can flirt to this 5.5 to 6 rate, I think it's going to create a lot of business. One of the things that I heard 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've told a number of the mastermind groups is, I told you guys earlier, last year, the first time home buyers average age was 36, the highest it's ever been. It's historically 30, 31 over the last 15, 20 years. Average, the prices went up, more debt. Those are things that have driven that price up. But the second thing I heard was last year, the percentage of first-time home buyers was the highest percentage it's ever been of the total amount of sales in history. And so I don't know what it was. I don't know if normally 35% of all houses are first-time home buyers, is 40. But, and one of the reasons they said is rents keep going up. But the second reason is like first-time home buyers are not married to some 2.5% to 3% interest rate that they're living in their house. So it's not like, well, I'm going to move out of my $350,000 house at 2.5%, 3% interest rate into, you know, a $550,000, $600,000 house at 6% interest rate. So that's, if they're paying rent, they're not gaining equity. Their rents keep going up every year. So my point of that is be cognizant, specifically if you know, go after that first-time home buyer. I think that's a market that's going to be very, very strong again this year. And I think that's where there's going to be a lot of opportunity for us to capture some business there. Other things on the numbers, Jay or Heather, that you see or trends that I'm missing? We've been trending down, Kyle and Carrie. We're probably going to be off about 10% for our new pendings for January. Why? And that's in our January of 19 and our January of 22 weren't that far off, surprisingly, on the numbers that we did. I think they're both high 800s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm hoping we hit low 800s for new pending transactions here in the month of January. That looks pretty good to me when you consider the entire last quarter of last year. Maybe even starting in September, October, November, December, we were off 30+% for pending transactions. So as we talk to people around the country and other markets, they're still off. I think I read Gino's report yesterday, 27 and 28%, about 30% in most parts of the country. So if we're down 10%, we are picking up. But that's historically what we see. The highs are never as high for us. The lows are never as low for us. So it doesn't surprise me that we're trending better than the vast majority of the country, and we're trending pretty much level with our market also. So to me, there's good news here. This thing's picking up. I feel substantially better the last 2 weeks about the first half of this year than I did earlier. With that being said, I don't want us to be confused. Inflation is still not completely under control. There are still some hiccups in the economy. You turn on the business stations and you continue to hear over the last 30 days, right? Plenty of layoffs, job cuts, expense cuts from huge companies, from the Amazons, from the Google, stuff like that. So, and the reason I continue to believe that this $450 to $850, and some of our new construction people have confirmed this, like $850 million plus, seems like that market's still really strong on new construction, just like the existing's picked up. But those people buying, you know, 5, 6, 7, 800,000 houses are locked into 2.5% to 3% interest rates typically, and they don't want to move out of that. But they're also dependent on mortgages. They're dual income. They're going to the grocery store. You know, inflation is still real, and they're still concerned about the overall economy. So I think that segment of the market is probably going to have the most opportunity for buyers, and maybe the softest part as we move forward here over the next 4 or 5 months. But to me, I feel much better about this year. Nico said yesterday he believes, and what Nico says we know is true. He bet on the Chiefs the last 2 weekends, so you know he knows what he's talking about. That you felt that this year is probably going to be better than last year. And I said it's hard to say that the first 6 months won't be as good as the first 6 months of last year, but it's hard to believe if the last 6 months of this year is worse than the last 6 months of last year, that's not good for any of us. And I don't think that's the case. As I look at Fred, that investor, I think we're getting more and more investors to the market because there's opportunities for them. That's another first-time home buyers, investors are both segments I would highly be going after right now. Maggie's going to run through a number of things with us. We've got 3 or 4 programs we're going to talk about, from KV Core kicking off to, I call it Chat AI, but I think there's a separate name for it. I think Chat AI owns this other artificial intelligence thing. So, and Maggie's going to give a little example of that. We've been talking a little about this in our mastermind groups.
So, as I was walking out the door this morning, my daughter said, "Oh, is this the presentation that the robot wrote for you?" So we know that the first half will be okay, except for the site. Every time I try to go there, it tells me it's overloaded. So, Chat GPT is basically it's AI. So what it is it's a product that you basically type in a question, or, you know, in some cases, write me a property description about a 3-bedroom house in Bellevue, Nebraska with great backyard, close to schools, and it will actually generate out for you a property description. I'm gonna try to refresh this really quick. So
Did you do that? Did you bring that example that I asked you to?
I
Okay.
did, yeah. All right, so last week Vince said, I'll have you talk about this at sales meeting, and I think within a minute, I sent him this back. So all I did into Chat GPT was type in, write me a presentation on Chat GPT, please include a joke and an explanation about the power of AI. I won't read.
No, read it because
the-
it's funny.
I'll read a good part of it, but it kicked back within, I would say, 30 seconds or so, this presentation, which is the best part of the morning. Because I didn't write it. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Chat GPT, a large language model developed by OpenAI. Chat GPT is a state-of-the-art AI model that utilizes a deep learning technique called transformer architecture to generate, I didn't write this, to generate human-like text. It has been trained on a massive amount of data, allowing it to understand and respond to a wide range of topics and questions with high accuracy. So one of the key advantages of Chat GPT is the ability to understand context, which allows it to generate a more accurate and relevant response. For example, if you ask, what is the capital of France, it will respond with Paris. But if you then ask, what is the population, it will understand that you are still talking about Paris. But don't take my word for it. Let's try it out. Although it's completely at capacity right now. Now for the joke. Why was the computer cold? Because it left the windows open. As you can see, Chat GPT is not only useful, but also entertaining. Okay, so where this is relevant though. So first of all, Chat GPT passed the Michigan bar last week. Sorry, Scott.
That's took Scott 7 times. That was the Michigan one though.
I've heard it's easier. So the unique thing with this is this was the fastest growing piece of technology released ever. Like within 15 weeks, it's got Microsoft knocking on the door wanting to give them $10 billion, not to buy it, but to invest in it, which at this point they should take because their servers are at capacity.
So the day I heard about this, I told Maggie, could you get me signed up on this? She says, I can't, there's a waiting list, but you'd already signed up earlier.
Yeah, I already signed up for it. The nice thing is
Huh? Because they knows I'm not tech savvy. They're like stupid, putting me at the bottom of the list.
so really for real estate, it is pretty cool. You can go in there and say, like I said, you can give, you can give your 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 3-car garage, give it basic information, and it kicks back for you a really nice property description. I went in, I was messing around with it. We ask it things like, how do I add a firewall rule to a new Palo Alto? And it kicks back the steps of everything that we need to do. So yeah, you can go to Google and Google that and then scour the web for your right response, or you can go to this little robot, chat bot, and type it in, and it's going to kick out for you all sorts of relevant
And there's no
information.
cost if you can get signed up.
Yeah,
There's currently no cost of using it right now.
Right. And so Thursday, we were doing this in a mastermind and half the group signed up while we were sitting there. So it is something that's open and relevant. For whatever reason, it's at capacity now. The other cool thing you can do, you can tell it to write in the voice of a pirate. If you have time later today, Ryan Reynolds did this for Mint Mobile. So the mobile service that he owns. And he was like, write it in the voice of Ryan Reynolds, use a swear word, tell a joke, and it check. And that was their commercial. So it is something that's cool. We'll try to keep everybody updated about it. You can't invest in it. Sorry, Heather. It's not a publicly traded company. It's independently owned. So, but it is very, very, as long as it's working.
Anybody signed up and using it right now? I think you're the first one, Jessica, that told us about that, right?
So I wrote my last description, I used it for my value listing. And you do have to change a few things. You can't just like copy and paste it because it's still a robot. But the other thing I was gonna say is if you have Canva Pro, if you can't get into Chat GPT, if you have Canva Pro, if you go into their docs section, there's something called Magic Write. It's called Magic Write. And it's the same It's probably not the same technology, so it's not as thorough, but it's a very similar product.
Yeah, the other product out there is Jasper AI. That's subscription based. Chat GPT is going to be offering subscriptions. They have to make money somehow. So they are going to be offering subscriptions at some point where you have access. They just haven't launched it yet.
Yes.
I told it to write a love letter to my husband and it was a joke and immediately.
So- She said, Trish said, I told it to write a love letter to my husbands and write a joke. Husbands, yes. And it made her want, and it made them all want to cry. So what is right? But first of all, something 4 months in the business, an offer of $10 billion for part of it, it's going to be here, guys. Trust me, if Microsoft's making an offer on it, it's not going away. But that was the conversation, is there's concern for kids now when they're writing papers in high school and college, is they're going to use artificial intelligence to write these papers. I mean, I know if I was in school, I would. A lot easier than looking at your neighbor's paper.
It might have been how I solved my daughter's fractions this week.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so,
Guys, look into it. It's going to be something here, and it is relevant to the real estate business. I think Jimmy Burgess has kind of done a video on that I will get, Jay. I will get that if I'm right on that, and we'll disperse that to you guys, saying here's some applications of how you can use that in the real estate world.
I also, I forgot, I asked it like, what are the best way to make curtains? And it gave us this whole thing so that you don't have to come up with information with your social media.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Jay? Are you okay? All right. All right, Mag, what do we
Okay,
got next?
yeah, so there's a lot going on. This morning, 9:30 Pacific, but we won't wait. BHHS is rolling out a new logo. So it's a new typeface. They're calling this a soft launch, which means just as you order something new, we're going to throw the new logo on it. So they've prepared probably a 25 slide PowerPoint presentation,
Which we're not going to go through.
which we're not going to go through. But I do have some slides in here. So essentially, the brand is 10 years old in September. And so some of this is just talking about how brands kind of transform over time. And it just gives examples of, okay, Uber, Visa, Microsoft, all these logos and typefaces kind of evolve over time to match, I guess, what is happening in that time frame. So here's the new logo.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, wow. The reason
You guys
we-
got chills?
Y'all okay?
This ain't as good as the Chiefs winning, is it? I know, but I'm past getting fired. They've tried that a couple times.
Let's see. So old versus the new, a couple of things. First of all, it is more modern.
Yeah.
It is a lot cleaner. It's a lot bolder. It lays out so much nicer on cards, awards, signs. Like we've had it for like a day or two, and so we've been throwing it on things. It's more modern, and it's set up to be in a mobile first world, which is where we are. There's all the logo variations. So there's lots of, it still has the same, Kirby's so excited. It still has the same, they call it horizontal, stacked, the various options with it. We have it in white, Cabernet, and black.
Isn't that new that they've added color options to it?
Yep. So, seal. I did use some of the slides. So there's a new quality seal also. It is kind of separated off, so you don't have to use it. We didn't use it anyways, but it's not part of the existing logo. So it is a standalone element kind of this way. There's new fonts. These fonts are Google, I know, yeah. These fonts are Google fonts, which means they're free. So you guys can go download those and use those if you want to. The benefit of that is as people go to websites with these fonts on it, looks the way it's supposed to look. This is kind of where everybody is transitioning. You're not paying for fonts anymore. Google releases a whole bunch of these. And the colors. So we still have our traditional template, Cabernet, Lush, Earth, Rose, especially. We have all of the color codes for all of this. There's a modern theme with examples. There's new with blue and green. So technically spruce and cobalt, which is a vibrant theme. And you can see it kind of used, and you will start to see it used on items in the resource center, which is going to be updated today. And then there's a calm theme, fern, sky, also with the Cabernet. So there are more color options and color palette options than what people had in the past. And like I said, you'll see this all in the resource center today. And it's not like anything has changed. You don't have to use these colors.
But they'll be redoing like postcards and
Yep.
other things, right, to,
Match all of this.
Okay.
And it's just a little bit more modern, fresher look and feel. So we are going to have all of the logos available on the intranet, on AMB Agent Tools. We'll post them up onto the Facebook page so that you guys can go in and download those and use those how you normally would. And like I said, you don't have to update. It's not like you have to run out and order new signs. It's when you order them the next time, let's use the new logo. When you order business cards the next time, we'll use the new logo. So
who likes the new look better? Okay,
it grows on you.
it'll grow, yeah.
It does.
It's actually grown on me.
It's when we started using it on, we laid out a new agent's business card with it yesterday. It is a lot cleaner and easier to read, and it's actually a lot easier to work with. So it is good.
All right,
Okay.
you got more stuff.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Hold on. Okay. VHHS Connect. So this is coming. This is the new CRM that is powered by KV Core. KV Core is the #1 CRM in the real estate space. So,
Did Tasha leave? Kevin used okay.
okay. Do you want to? Kevin.
You've thought great things about it, right? And I know, I saw Tasha out there. She used to use Boomtown and she switched to KV Core, which supposedly KV Core
KV
just
Core
bought
purchased it.
Boomtown.
Yep. So the power to this is, you can see it's mobile first, mobile friendly. Concept being you load at a bare minimum, you load your Sphere, your past clients into the platform, and then it basically works for you. So when you wake up in the morning and you pop onto your phone, it's going to tell you who to contact based off of what their activity has been. So they're opening the seller nurture campaigns, they're opening the buyer nurture campaigns, any of those types of things, it's letting you know who to contact. So it is mobile first and mobile friendly. It's a lead engine, so you can run ads on the web, social media to capture new leads. It's an AI-powered smart CRM. So I add my Sphere, I meet a buyer at an open house, I add them to this platform. I say hashtag buyer. It's very hashtag based. Hashtag buyer, it automatically signs them up for that buyer campaign, and then it nurtures them for you. There's a CMA presentation in here. There's back office integration to .loop. So you got it, your client to .loop, it automatically comes over to here if you want it to, so that you don't have to enter more than one time. The whole concept is it nurtures your client. They view properties. Let's say they're telling you they want a ranch in Sarpy County, and all of a sudden they're looking at 2 stories in Elkhorn. It updates that. It lets you know what's going on, and it sends them relevant information based off of what they might be searching. And it's one central database or one central place to go check your client's activity. So we've had, I'm gonna skip some of this stuff. So as you're looking for a new CRM, wait, this is coming, I'm gonna say March-ish time. Everybody laughs, March's time frame. The idea being, this is rolling out across a lot of VHHS companies and a lot of home services companies. So we're basically slated at 6 in that rollout. There's no charge to you guys. This is part of what is being offered. Sage CRM will still be there. So if you are using Sage and you like Sage, it's still going to be there. Just know that this CRM is probably smarter and going to work better for you. But it's also something that you need to know about as you look at your own Boomtown renewals and Real Geeks renewals and things like that. We do have something that's coming that is the #1 CRM in real estate.
So there will be premier, right? You're gonna get a basic CRM system, but there will be upgrades that I think Kevin and Tasha and others are using, that we should be able to get discounts for those that are using those expanded platforms.
There's a whole section of this called the marketplace. And as somebody that goes into the marketplace, that's where you can really look at, say, okay, I want to do a Google pay-per-click campaign. I want to do a voicemail drop on all my clients' phones. I want to do, whether it's paid search, paid AdWords, boost a property. There's a lot of options in there that is in their marketplace. Kevin?
Yes.
Here's one thing I'm gonna tell you on TV. You
Say that again. Oh, yeah.
You could do the free version where it gives you 10 a month, or you could do $30 a month, and then you could do the upgraded version, and you can blast that out by text. You could do mass text, mass emails with that core or with the video, or you could personalize it and you can send it to customers that are searching.
So
The thing is, it's more personalized. They respond to that.
Yeah.
To
that
where it's-
video is a BombBomb integration. So yeah, and Kevin's exactly right. You get 10 for free, or you can do a upgraded subscription.
Then you can also put it into what's called a call to action, where you can put that in your drip campaign too, for that video.
There is going to be like tons of training on this. So the way KV Core rolls this out is they have like 3 or 4 just trainings back. And then obviously there will be more, but
So we'll get a schedule out in advance of
Yeah.
when they'll be here, or will it be online training, or,
it's online.
okay.
Are all of our contacts from Sage, you can automatically migrate over, so no request needed to get that done?
Yeah, so what we'll do, we probably actually will do a opt-in request for that. So watch your email for that. And then right before we launch KV Core, we will do a one-time contact download from Sage or from Resource Center. And we'll do a one-time contact download from Reliance. So that that's our
Is
website.
Brian Thomas here?
And we'll import all of that into KV Core.
All right.
Okay, I'm done.
No, you got one last thing. Quick buy. So, Quick Buy is a program I'll talk a little bit about, but I need you to expand upon it, so don't leave me here. Quick Buy is a program that we're paying an annual fee on. We've not got crazy engagement on it, but it still seems to make sense to me. There's some markets. So I met with, I think, was that the president or CEO a couple of weeks ago? And I've asked him, please go back to Georgia and Rod's company in Pennsylvania, some big companies that are really using this very effectively. And they're using it to track business, and say, how are they marketing? How are they communicating? And then I want to get it back out to you, but who here has used Quick Buy or presented to a seller at all? Okay. That was a great investment by us, Kyle. But again, it's a program. And so we're going to learn from those using it effectively. And I want to bring it back because I still think it's a tool that makes some sense. But if we're not going to have anybody use it, then we're not going to pay for it and renew it again. But it gives it an automatic buyout program to the seller as an offer. And the reason I like it is they're giving a much fairer price than the wholesalers that are out there. And you have some people saying, hey, I would rather do this. We want to still give the option of sell your house for this, it's worth this. They're going to give an offer here. There is an inspection process you got to go through, which a little bit of a headache. But there is a need. There's still people out there saying, I just want to sell my house. You've got more people ever in the world out there wholesaling. So if we can get someone to do it at a reasonable price and not, ripping off someone at 30% below market, I like that. I feel there's a conscious to that. And And the second thing is they will then turn around and list it with you. So you control that situation. So in my mind, if you're not out there as a person that are buying houses yourself, I think it's an opportunity to offer to people because it's coming in, Kyle, I'm looking at you, help set up the program, or Maggie, but they're coming in like 5-6% plus the commission below market value. They're not coming in, Fred, is what we see of wholesalers 25, 30, 40% below, where you're completely screwing people. And so I think it'll be used very rarely. I think the majority of people in the market, as it's picked up, should be selling their house if we're presenting the options to them right. But I would rather have that as an option than have someone go to a wholesaler and sell their house for substantially less. Julie. We did launch that in the middle of time where, we had 15, 20 offers. And so we're going to try to bring somebody back in.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And I think we've had like 5 offers submitted within the last week.
Okay.
So we have had kind of 2 trainings back to back. So, but the one really good success story, and I don't see Bill Swanson here, but I know it pretty well. So he did just a blurb on it on a newsletter to a past sphere. And he had a lady call him and say, hey, can you tell me some more information about this quick buy program? She was moving into assisted living. One of the options with quick buy is a lease back. So basically, he went in and worked with her. Quick buy gave her an offer that she accepted. She leased her own property back from quick buy until she's basically ready to say, okay, I'm ready to move. So she was waiting for an assisted living spot to open up. 2 weeks later, it did. Quick buy closed within, I think, 3 or 4 days. Or no, they'd already closed. They were leasing it back. So she terminated that lease. I think you have to give them 2 days notice. Then they got the house ready to sell. It is being listed Friday, I believe. So they did some upgrades or some improvements, and then he lists that property on Friday. So that's a scenario where she didn't know how long the wait list was going to be, but she knew she needed to get rid of her house to free up funds for the assisted living. And so there are scenarios where it makes sense. So the way Quick Buy is saying this in all of their training is now you have 4 options. So Quick Buy actually has 3 options: an immediate offer. They walk, the seller walks away, think divorce situation or something like that. They have cash in hand. Maybe they need cash in hand to go buy another house. So that gives them cash in hand to go buy the next house. The lease back option, which is what Bill's client did. And then they also have an option where you basically lock it in for 1%, and then you have 6 months to go sell it. So you can go sell it on a normal market.
And you know what your worst case scenario is,
And then now you've locked in what your worst case scenario is going to be.
which probably in spring might have been a good deal for some people that didn't have their house sold in 4 or 5 months.
So the next training is actually February 14th. I will get that sent out today. A lot of them are on Zoom. They're in Chicago, so we are scheduling a time for them to come back out to Omaha, but please consider it. It's just another touch point for
The
clients.
example she's talking about is my biggest concern. It's that elderly person moving to retirement or assisted living that I feel gets, quite honestly, taken the most advantage of in these wholesale situations.
And that's
so,
what she was looking at too.
and that's what a lot of those
Yeah.
people are, which that's the person that shouldn't be getting taken advantage of, does not know what's going on, is the person that's getting taken advantage of. I'm not going to even don't give Fred the microphone.
I'm gonna go here and then here because
I was looking all over like the resource center and stuff for some marketing materials to present at a listing presentation. Is something like that going to come out, or am I
it's
just?
actually on the intranet. I'll send you a
Okay.
link for it. There's a whole folder in there,
Okay.
so
yeah.
that I can send it to you.
How do you go about advertising this in spite of, you got a couple thousand people? If that thing is a general community new, is an alternative
Well,
to doing it, the whole thing.
so that's, and Fred, that's a reason I want to go to Atlanta and to Pennsylvania, where they both have 2,000 plus agents. They're effectively doing this with good results. And what they're doing is they're taking business away from the wholesaler. So my point is, I think we're missing a big opportunity here. I'm not smart enough to tell you how do we communicate this and how do we market this. That's what, Maggie, I'm going to continue to hammer on you to follow up. I think it was Daniel's name,
Dan, yeah.
to give us, and maybe we call it Rod in Pennsylvania. And maybe we call who took over in Atlanta. I'm drawing a complete blank right now. Deanne. So, but we need to get that answer, because there are people out there looking at doing wholesaling. And if we give them another option, that puts more dollars in their pocket, there's gonna be a law of attraction to us on that, guy. So if we, Yeah. So if we can get this and figure out how to properly market this, our whole job is the reason we did this in the beginning when Kyle and I had this conversation, do we pay this money or not, was how do we help open doors and create opportunities for you? But I need your guys to, I need you to engage this to help us with that process. So if we can get it to a point where we think it can be marketed effectively, will you guys maybe start using this as social media and marketing this in some manner, some way like Bill did? No? Okay.
Joanne?
I had some clients last summer who obviously were somewhat desperate, even though they didn't exactly share with me the reason they were. But they had had a sale fall through and I had shown their house and they called me and said, we need a different listing agent. And this was, at good times. And they said, we really need this sold. We don't care what we sell it for. We just need it sold. And they said, do you think we should call just one of these companies that just buys houses? And I said, no, please don't. And I offered them the quick buy program. I mean, actually, I am embarrassed to say that I was not up to snuff enough to know all of the things about it, but I knew that we had it. I knew that it would offer a solution to them. And I said, let me at least get you this information before we take that plunge. And it's sold by the time I ever got the information. So I didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
But I think there's key in offering it because now you're offering them a solution that their other solution is not good.
Right.
And I think that's really a.
We're running out of time, but Kyle and then Scott.
So real quick comment on this. The two things that we saw as an advantage when we introduced this and kind of both for, this group here, the agent is one, it's another tool in your listing presentation, right? This is something we thought could help drive business to you guys, the agents, to secure those listings. It's just another, solution you can offer to a potential client. The other good thing is Vince already touched on this, but I think it's worth repeating is they work with you, the agent, to then turn around and relist that property. They keep the agent center in the transaction, so they don't cut you out like the other wholesalers do. So again, a very important point to the program.
Perfect. Scott, so if you can come up here, we want to talk about something. Go ahead. Oh, Scott.
Well, I was going to just say I used it in a scenario where it was a $300,000 house and it was a distressed house. It needed some work. So I convinced him to look at the quick buy program. We got the buyout option was like $285. If they put it on the market, it was like $325. I ended up doing it as a broker exclusive. I won the deal. And then I actually purchased the house myself for $330 with a full commission. So the bottom line is the pricing was right on the market for, the work that needed to be done in this house. And I won the deal because their other agent didn't have access to that option.
Perfect. So Scott put out an email. We're going to continue to put out emails because we want to reduce our liability, but he's going to talk a little bit about the Keller Williams $40 million settlement on the lawsuit they had that is not good.
I'm not saying you guys don't read my emails.
Right.
But on November 29th, I wrote an email about do not call. I had, things about how to avoid all that other stuff.
How many read that email?
I got 3 emails back on that one.
I've never seen real estate agents. You didn't think they lie like that.
Yeah, I know. And then I write one about $40 million and all of a sudden I get 40 emails about it and asking me all these questions. And I'm like, well, I wrote it all in the November 29th email. And then Heather goes, can you forward that email to me? I deleted it.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember. Regardless, at the end of the day, we've already talked about it once, but do not call is something that was, it's a law from 20 years ago that hit telemarketers really, really hard for many, many, many years. They filed a bunch of class action lawsuits and then it sort of went away, and it kind of went away because landlines went away. It was really focused on landlines and cell phones. People just had kind of a different attitude about cell phones. Well, cell phones were brought into do not call. And they then again went after the telemarketers for all the text messages and all that other stuff. And so they then got better at their jobs and they started, checking the do not call list. And so they started looking for new targets and we became a very real target. And you guys probably remember this in about 2017 and 2018, you started getting a ton of calls from a Arizona call center on behalf of Keller Williams. And they were just calling randomly anyone. Hey, would you be interested in listing your house? And they were using it to try to generate leads and then sending them to agents. And so that worked for a while. And then, of course, they got sued for a class action lawsuit. It took years and years for it to go through the process. But now at this point, they've now been, they got beat so bad that they're paying $40 million to get out of it because their exposure was even higher than that. It's a ton of money when you get into a class action lawsuits. And even brokerages of our size, it can be millions of dollars to get out of these things. And so every time that you are contacting someone, you've got to make sure that you're checking the do not call list. you have a right to contact people. If they give you if someone, fills out a form or they send you an email, you have a right to contact them. You can call them, you can text them. You can do that for 18 months and still, but once you get past that 18 months, if you're contacting them on month 19th and they haven't bought anything from you or, asked you to continue to contact them, that's now a do not call violation. So we have a system in place that if you want to put in numbers, Maggie will send it out again today with the wrap-up email about how to get into it. So we have a service that you can put phone numbers into it and it will automatically check it against the do not call list. And it's really, really easy to avoid do not call list violation. If they're on the do not call list,
Do not call.
do not call them. And that's do not text them, do not call them.
That's the one
do
thing
not
is a
voicemail.
text is the equivalent of a call, guys. So if you think you're getting around, text is almost worse because now they,
Right. And the worst thing you can do is actually the robo dialing where it goes to an automatic voicemail message for the people, because you have to have written authority from the person to do that. And who has that? No one does. And so, it's just, it's very easy to avoid, but the penalties from it are very, very high. And they don't look at you, they'll look at you individually. You will be named. If you're the person doing it, they're going to sue you.
well, let's talk about the important part. Their errors and omissions
Right.
does not cover
Yeah,
this.
and of course, this is not within the scope of duties of your agency, and therefore, E&O does not cover you for this stuff. So you are on your own. And if you're in a class action lawsuit, you're being sued basically by thousands of people. Even if you only, because every time you call someone, every person that you put in your list, everyone you robo dial and call, that's a violation. Each one of those violations could be $1,500 up to $2,000. And that's not even where the rub is. It's the number of times you do it, plus the number of people you do it to. That's where it snowballs into a huge thing. And so anyone who does it, you're going to be named. You're not going to have a free defense by E&O because it's not an E&O issue. And you're going to come out of pocket to try to get it settled. And of course, they're going to go after us as the brokerage. And that is why we're doing this training, because there is a way for us as the brokerage to limit our liability, which is to do this training. And so we might have an ability to exit stage left, and you guys will be left fighting the battle. And we won't feel good about it.
But we won't feel bad.
But we won't feel bad about it either.
We'll feel good. We're not getting sued. We'll feel
Yeah.
bad. You are.
We're going to be there going, we're here to support you, but not with money.
So I want to talk about one other thing.
Yeah.
We just renewed our errors and omissions. We're not raising the rate to you, but we're going to give you an example of something happened here. The state's plan has a $100,000 limit in it. Our plan has $1 million limit in it. We had a lawsuit that settled for $150,000.
Right.
And so that agent, thank God, and then they had our legal plan because there's some other attorney fees that were another $10,000.
Right.
They had our legal plan, so that covered the $10,000 of attorney fees and some things that are on the side. But if they would have the state plan, they would have paid a minimum of $50,000 for even after their errors and omissions would have kicked in on that thing. So we continue to head down this path of doing this plan, our group plan. We are the only company I know of in the state that does this. But this was, and that could have been way worse than it was, to be honest
Well,
with you.
I was just going to say, I've been doing E&O with agents since 2001 after I passed the bar on the 12th time. And mom was proud. And this is the highest settlement we've ever paid. I mean, significantly more.
Yeah,
But it just tells you how valuable it is to have our policy in place, because most homes, the average price of a home is what, $320,000 at this point. $100,000 in coverage doesn't even get you a wing of that house if something goes bad. And so you got to think about the coverage that you have, and that's why there's a huge benefit
Yeah.
being part of ours. And it
Our
costs
rates
us
as
a
a
lot of money.
company did go up a little bit because of this settlement. That's kind of how it happens. When you have a big claim, they tend to raise your rates, but we're not raising yours. But I want you guys to be aware of that. This errors and omissions policy we have has environmental issues and other things. So it's a policy that covers well beyond what the state does. So we are out of time, guys. So we wanted to leave on a high note. Guys, there is business being had out there. I'm going to give you one statistic that should be scary for people outside of this room. Last year, I had Scott run how many agents in the Omaha market did 3 or less deals, and the number was 52% and some change. 3 or less deals in 2021, agents out of 3,100, and we stayed about flat from last year to this year, 3,200 agents in the marketplace. So 52% of agents did 3 or less deals last year. We ran this year 2 or less deals for 2022. 62.2% of agents did 2 or less deals in the Omaha market last year. Yet, I thought because the economy was getting soft and people weren't selling houses, you would have, and that doesn't include 178 or 79 agents that dropped their license in December. I'm guessing a lot of those people that dropped in December would have took that number to 64, 65%. This is becoming an industry of have and have nots. And we are here without any apologies to anybody for those who want to be great, want to grow their business, and want to be in the have group. So build relationships, show value, stay connected. You're going to continue to win deals. But it's crazy. 62.2% of agents did 2 or less deals. That blew my mind. Scott initially sent the text to Heather and I, said 38%. I'm like, there's no way in hell. It went from in September 53% to 38%. But dyslexia, Jay, you're not the only one that's dyslexic. He had the 38 and the 62 flippity-flopped. So
I
we,
thought you were smart enough to flip it.
yeah. I'm reading this text. It's 38%. I should have said, I think he has that backwards. Okay, then we are done.
Every night, the 16th and I think 9th and 13th and 23rd of designation. Anybody that can't afford to pay the fees, please come and see me. No one will know. I want you to come and talk about investment park. It's going to be really amazing this year. So take advantage of it. There'll be a flyer coming out here today and tomorrow on the dates.
Good guy. No, what else do I have? Yeah, so John Kimsey, guys, we put out an email 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago. John's on a leave for about 90 days. I guess you can smack if I say anything wrong. I told him we were putting out an email and he said he actually wanted us to put out an email. So if you want to call John or text John, I know that when I put that out, he sent me a number of responses saying, hey, lots of people reached out to me. John can talk about what's going on, but he's there. I love John. John's been with me for 30 years. I get emotional talking about John. So just if you want to reach out to him, say hi. I know he would like that. And so we're looking right now to get someone to replace that temporarily at this point in time. So hopefully Scott's charge of that chore. We'll get someone sooner than later. The awards breakfast, real quick. I do want to make sure everyone has that on there. That is March 7th at 8:30 out at View on West Shore. So March 7th, please put that down, guys. And then I think we got about 110, 120 people going to convention. We got a chunk of people going to convention. So we'll get you more details on that as we come forward. So the Good Guy Award.
Yes, but before we do that real quick, we do need RSVPs. We do need RSVPs for the awards breakfast. So please make sure that you do that. You can email ambevents@bhhsamb.com. It's the same email that you use to RSVP for the Christmas party. Okay, Good Guy Award. Doug Doty could not be here today, but he would like to present this to a teammate of his, an OABR president-elect, the past Women's Council of Realtors president, and she is currently working very hard right now at the legislative days in Lincoln. So the next good guy, it goes to Denise Poppin.
Denise here. So congratulations. Guys, get out there, sell some houses, stay busy. There's business to be had.